Namaste and welcome viewers. You're watching Mirror Prime. It's me, Ashish Pareek, and today, of course, we'll be talking about cricket. Every time there's India and Pakistan in cricket, there's plenty of drama. And this time, it has started even before the first ball is bowled. Or, in fact, even the first schedule of the Champions Trophy 2025 is even released. Pakistan's preparation for the Champions Trophy have been on an overdrive. Stadiums are ready, the infrastructure is set, but with India now refusing to travel due to security concerns, the matter has become complicated. Scheduled to be held between February 19 to March 9 next year across Lahore, Rawalpindi, and in Karachi, the tournament could mark Pakistan's first ICC hosted event since 1996. But given India's stance, India's reluctance to travel to Pakistan, the Pakistan Cricket Board could be compelled to explore the hybrid model, allowing India to play its matches outside Pakistan, while of course the other teams will continue to play in Pakistan. But reports now suggest that Pakistan has decided to put its foot down. They could also decide that they will not host the tournament if India stick to its demand. The Pakistan Cricket Board could also go ahead with the tournament even without India if it doesn't want to travel. There are multiple possibilities. With such uncertainties and the clock ticking as well, it has now become interesting to see if the Indian Cricket Board manages to get its way yet again, or will Pakistan stick to its gun, of course, despite all the pressures of having to budge before a board like the BCCI, which is of course the most powerful right now. Before I go across to my guest today, joining us right now is my colleague Karishma, who's been tracking all the details, all the updates as far as this Champions Trophy drama is concerned. Karishma, fans of course anticipate a lot of drama on the field, but even before the matches begin, there's plenty of drama right now between India and Pakistan. Pakistan, of course, exploring its options. Hybrid model, they've already said that they don't want it. So what's more in store?
Well, yes, they have said they don't want it, but they haven't said it officially or given it in writing to ICC. What they have done officially is written to ICC asking them to explain the reasons in detail why India will not travel to Pakistan. The fact that India said there are security concerns and that they will not get clearance from the government of India to Pakistan was not enough for them. That is why they have written to ICC asking for deeper clarifications as far as India's stance not traveling to Pakistan is concerned. Now, of course, they have options in front of them. They can go to the ICC Internal Disputes Committee. They can go to the Court of Arbitration of Sport. They can opt out from hosting the Champions Trophy, in which case it could go to UAE or South Africa, the entire tournament, or they could just agree to the hybrid model and get the major hosting fees as well, which ICC has promised them if they do agree to the hybrid model, which would mean India playing its matches in UAE and the final happens in Dubai. But of course, PCB on on media reports, and media reports are saying that this is not acceptable to them. But like I said, no official communication has come in from PCB whether they're in favor or against as far as the hybrid model is concerned.
Absolutely, Karishma. In the past as well, we've seen, of course, a lot of PCB presidents come before the term. In fact, in the beginning of their term, they make such promises, and when we see, when it comes to, of course, the end, are they eventually fall in line and decide to go ahead with the tournament? We'll, of course, have to see if the Naqvi-led PCB now also does the same, or will they, of course, try to do, of course, put the foot down and go ahead with the tournament even without India. Lots now, of course, lots of uncertainties. Appreciate you joining us on the broadcast. We'll, of course, go across to our guest now. Bimal Soni, former manager, Indian cricket team, will be joining us shortly. But right now with us is Vedam Jaishankar, who's a sports journalist, and Joseph Hoover, who's a cricket writer. Vedam, very interesting right now. We usually say it. I mean, of course, in an ideal world, sports and politics should not be mixed together. But when it comes to India and Pakistan, it's not linear. There are of course a lot of complexities involved as well. And this drama right now is about the Champions Trophy. Where do you see it headed?
Yeah, Ashish, it's neither, I guess it's neither sport nor politics really. It's a question of safety. But just about a couple of days ago, there was another bomb blast in Pakistan. About 25, 30 people were killed. So safety is a major issue in Pakistan. Now, the problem is Pakistan is used to that. For them, it's a new normal. People getting bumped off, dying. It's a new normal for them. That's not the case for India. So for India or the rest of the world, that's not the case. And Pakistan saying that they will play the Champions Trophy without India is ridiculous because the Champions Trophy is an ICC property. It's not Pakistan's property. Pakistan is only getting the hosting rights. That's it. The entire money, everything goes to the ICC, and ICC will decide to distribute the money in a whatever manner that they've already decided earlier. Pakistan has no say in that. And I have covered cricket in Pakistan. I know Pakistan is not a normal place, and it's a very abnormal place. And it's not like you walk into a stadium in India, cover the game, and go out. It's not at all like that. The security is incredibly intense. And why is the security so intense? Is because it's unsafe. It's terribly unsafe. It's not like going to New Zealand or England or Australia and covering cricket. So Pakistanis will never understand that it's not normal there.
But the problem with them, and of course, this is something that the Pakistani board and of course the Pakistani fans are also saying here. Joseph, I want you to respond to this. Pakistan now says that every single nation has come and played in Pakistan a cricket series or two, and they don't have an issue. There's security, security teams have, of course, cleared Pakistan to host all of these matches. It's only India and Indian cricket that has an issue. And that, they say, it's, of course, a conspiracy being floated by the Indian Cricket Board. How do you see this?
I mean, that's ridiculous to say it's a conspiracy. The fact remains that there are security risks. And we have seen it over the years, what's been happening in Pakistan. There are so many teams which have refused to go there.
Joseph,
Some, of course,
the problem
recently
is
have gone.
Pakistan says no other team has a security issue. It's only India. Every other team comes out and plays in Pakistan. They have a good series, and it's only when it comes to BCCI and the Indian Cricket Board that suddenly security becomes such a big issue in Pakistan.
No, we should not forget that when the Sri Lankan team was there was shootout. They were they risked their lives. Some of them were injured. So it's not just about India. It's about anybody for that matter. Anything could happen in Pakistan anytime. And all this time, it has been the Indian government which has been reaching out to Pakistan, their counterpart, asking them to get the things in order, especially cut down on terrorism. But that's never happened. Why should we always be under the thing about saying that, okay, what Pakistan does, we're okay with it? Now, BCCI has taken a very firm stand, saying that we are definitely not going to play in Pakistan. I appreciate that because we have been there. I've been to Pakistan. I know what the situation is. You just can't be on your own there. You need to be minded all the time. So that is one aspect. But again, when it comes to
absolutely, I mean,
talking about security,
both of you on the panel have, of course, have had your experiences with Pakistan, and of course, your insights here are valuable as well. But Vedam, a very interesting point here is that what does Pakistan cricket do here? Because right now, Pakistan has three options. They can go ahead with the hybrid model, which means that India will play its matches outside. They can, decide to go ahead without India, or they can give up the hosting rights altogether. But the problem is, if they go ahead with the hybrid model, fans back in Pakistan will say that, well, you succumb to pressure under India. If they decide to go ahead without India, I don't know if it's economically viable and if ICC will be willing to let go of that much money. And if they decide to give up the hosting rights, even that will be seen as buckling to pressure under India. So what does Pakistan do here? No matter what they do, it will be an embarrassment for them.
Yeah, to start with, there is no way they can play without India. ICC will not play without India. So that option is totally thrown out of the window. If 80% of the money is coming from India and because India plays, there is no way ICC will conduct a tournament and then end up handing over money to all the various units. So that's out of the question. So what are the other two options that Pakistan has got? Either play as a hybrid model or get out of hosting rights altogether. Now, if you get out of the hosting rights, there's no money that you're going to make at all. At least as hosting rights, you will make some money. Who is suffering? Maybe the fans are suffering a bit. But then they will understand that it is because of the way Pakistan has run its country that the fans have to suffer. And it's not a joke. We have seen even the Chinese engineers don't want to work in Pakistan. They are attacking any foreigner. And India, all said and done, is a very high-profile target. The Indian players are a very high-profile target for any of the Pakistani terrorists. So even if the 15th or 16th guy is injured, due to a terrorist attack, that is big news. And that's exactly what a terrorist wants. He wants to be in the news. So there is no way the Indian government is going to allow its players to be treated as fodder for these terrorists. It will not happen. So Pakistan, either it accepts that a hybrid model can be played and they get some part of the hosting, if at all they have redone their stadiums, which I doubt whether they have really done. They started work, that's it, but they have not completed it because they started very late and they just don't have money to complete that They need some sort of succor from the ICC and a whole lot of others,
Right.
other donors. Or they can give up the hosting right and say, okay, the next turn, whenever it comes, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years from now, we'll try and host it. By then, hopefully, terrorism will be a thing of the past. They can do that. But there is no way they can play without India. Sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, in fact, Pakistan does, of course, have a lot of questions ahead of them, and we also need to talk about the fact that Pakistan now is talking about India not agreeing to come. But the problem, Joseph, I think, also the question that needs to be asked here is that what was Pakistan cricket doing all this while? Because India, if you look at India, India has not said anything new. It is our same stance since 2008. We do not go to Pakistan. India has maintained its stance. Pakistan knew this beforehand. But now, with the countdown for the tournament beginning, suddenly Pakistan seems to have realized. Or do you think, Joseph, this was a strategy by Pakistan? They decided that we'll build the stadiums, we'll have the infrastructure ready. In the last moment, we'll pressure the ICC to get India to play. And well, that hasn't happened. And now we're looking at this complete mess.
See, Pakistan needs money. Let's be very frank about that. Their board is in shambles. They don't have the money. If somebody is trying to help them build their infrastructure, it's great. ICC is stepping in and saying, okay, we're going to do this. But if Pakistan still thinks that they can get away by throwing their weight around and saying India has to come to Pakistan, it's not going to happen. And as Vedam rightly said, this tournament will never happen without India because India is what brings the money. So ICC just rules that out. So best thing for Pakistan board, it cannot do much if you really ask me. They're just a cricket board. They can't do much with what's happening within their country and the terrorism aspect or whatever it is. They can't do much about it and they have no say in that. Whoever their board's president or secretary, whoever that be, they just can't do much. Just have to accept what's been happening. And if they were thinking that they would cajole
Right.
India or force India to come and play in Pakistan, that was just a whimsical thought, I would say. But the way I look at it is whether Pakistan likes
Absolutely.
it
I
or
mean,
not.
Joseph, the
Either
reason why I
it
said
has their
that
way.
is because that seems to be the strategy of Pakistan. Because everyone, I think everyone on both sides of the border knew what India's decision was going to be at the end of the day. And Pakistan, of course, did not address the elephant in the room. They decided that, well, we'll take it to the last minute and probably get India to play somehow. But again, it's not happening now and it looks like a complete mess. Bimal Soni, former manager of the Indian cricket team, joins us right now. Bimalji, welcome on the broadcast. We are, of course, talking about India and Pakistan and the drama around the Champions Trophy. And we've, of course, been talking a lot about India and Pakistan. Let's also talk about the ICC, which is, of course, the father figure here. ICC. Now, ICC says that bilateral between India and Pakistan, well, they don't want to do it. It's a decision between the two teams. But when it comes to an event that is organized by the ICC looks pretty toothless right now because it's India that's calling the shots and it's Pakistan that's making statements on the other side. What's ICC's role in this?
Well, ICC has a role to play, but they also know that it's the government order or basically the relationship between the two countries where India can't travel to Pakistan. Even if BCCI wanted, they would not get permission from Government of India. So in that matter, ICC has to look into it that for success of their tournament, which is a big tournament for them, and also India is not, the BCCI is not doing it, is the permission which they are not getting from Government of India. So for security reasons, of course. So naturally, they have to go for the hybrid model. Now it's upon Pakistan. And what I feel is Pakistan is playing around, putting pressure, and ultimately, I think they will agree on the hybrid model because they would not like to lose money which they would get from this Champions Trophy. And India's playing the TV rights, the money which comes because of India, they would not like to miss it. So I think that you will see a
Absolutely.
change in Pakistan's attitude once they are confirmed that India is not coming to play there. As far as the hybrid model is concerned, I think that's the best
Right.
option. Pakistan can't lose Champions Trophy hosting because that will be a great financial loss to Pakistan board, which is already not in good shape as the Indian board. So I think that this is a pressure tax from Pakistan, although Indian board has not played around anything. It is the policy decision of the government where the BCCI has to follow it.
Right. I mean, you're talking about, Bimalji, I just have to interrupt you there because you're talking about the hybrid model. And now Pakistan is going to turn around and say in 1996, I believe West Indies and Australia decided to not play the World Cup in Sri Lanka. And then there was no hybrid model. ICC did not give anyone the option of a hybrid model. In 2003, England refused to play in Harare. I think New Zealand refused to play in Kenya. They were also not given an option of a hybrid model. So Pakistan is now going to say when these countries were not given an option of hybrid model because they did not want to play, what's so special about India? I mean, if you give India that option, that's partiality.
In what you're saying, but things have changed since then. ICC knows that the game has become a commercial venture also, and India has contributed a lot in the growth of international cricket by way of finance. So ICC would like this finance to further the cricket in this world. And I think so, hybrid model, if they get good money, they are able to organize better cricket in overall standing, they would go for it. But it entirely depends on how members of the ICC discuss and take a decision. As far as I think.
All right, Bimalji, I think Vedam also wants to add to this. Vedam, go ahead. You were talking about the hybrid model, and of course, I mentioned teams like West Indies and Australia and teams like New Zealand and England in the past as well, who have proven the security issue and decided to not tour. And even in tournaments like the World Cup, they were not given an option of a hybrid model. Why should India be given it? I mean, that's going to be the argument that Pakistan will put forward.
Argument does not hold good at all because it was an entirely different model. Those days, the tournament was given to the host. Whoever would host the tournament, they would have to raise the money, they would have to get all the money, etc., etc. The property belonged to that particular host. Now that's not the case. Every property of this belongs to ICC, and ICC in turn will give it to somebody to host. But the sponsors, etc., are brought by ICC. It's not like before where the host country was expected to bring in the sponsors, bring in the telecasters, bring in the whole lot of things. No, now all the rights, everything belongs to ICC. So it's a totally different model, and Pakistan cannot throw that what happened to when Philcom, that it was Philcom that time, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, what Philcom did when Australia and England refused to travel to Sri Lanka, saying that it was an unsafe place. That was a different model. This is a different model. And there is no way. I mean, Pakistan has nothing. It only hosts the tournament. And for hosting it, it's given some money to conduct the tournament and conduct it very well and very successfully. That's it. There is, and besides that, of course, they'll get a share of the profits, which the ICC makes. The profits that ICC makes, because the property is ICC's. So the other model that you mentioned doesn't hold good at all.
Okay. Joseph, I want to ask you this because Bimal Soni ji made a very interesting point, and I do think that in a way that seems to be where this entire controversy is headed. Bimal Soni ji said that Pakistan right now seems to be testing water. They will budge eventually, but they don't want to do it as easily as they did before. They just want to see how far they can stretch this entire argument, and even when they budge, they don't want a sort of backlash from the fans back home as they did in the past.
Yeah, certainly. They have to save their face as well in front of their fans because their home base, they're also looking forward to hosting the tournament. They want to see India play there. So the Pakistan Cricket Board will do everything to tell their people, listen, we are trying our best, but ICC is not playing ball with them. But here the fact lies that whatever the ICC does, it's India which dominates. Let's accept the fact. Right from the time Dalmia has been the ICC chairman, till now, we have been the dominant factor because we bring in all the money. All the television rights, whatever the advertisement is, it's all coming from India. The money comes from India because this is where we get the viewership. And if ICC is going to tell India, you're going to listen to us, that never happened. So Pakistan can just start thinking, listen, let's let it go. Let's have a peaceful discussion and let's have a hybrid model. That's the way forward because whatever they do, whether they stand on their head or jump around, whatever they do, eventually it will be an hybrid model. India will definitely play in UA and playing. That's their thing because they're the ones who are going to lose, not India. So ICC also is going to lose if India withdraws. So there's nothing going to happen. And also you think, listen, I mean, we have the president, Mr. Jay Shah there now as the ICC president. So it's not going to be that easy for Pakistan to be, trying
In
to
fact,
throw the
Joseph, a
weight
quick
around. They need
point
to
that I need
just
to
sit back.
add is the fact that a lot of people seem to be equating this with Jay Shah's tenure as well. In fact, Jay Shah will officially take charge starting December 1. And a lot of people, I was actually speaking to a couple of our journalist friends from Pakistan, and they seem to be of the opinion that Jay Shah wants this entire mess to be sorted before he takes charge. And that seems to be the reason why this entire issue is escalating. And of course, I differ as far as that opinion is concerned. But meanwhile, before we wrap, final question to Vedam Jaishankar. Vedam, of course, Pakistan now is going to ask India about the exact reason why they don't want to come to Pakistan, play in Pakistan. And India is, of course, going to say security. And, of course, the fact that the Indian government doesn't want them to play. And the Pakistan argument then becomes that when it comes to other games, for example, earlier this year, our tennis team traveled to Pakistan and they played there. They had a good time. They came back. And Pakistan is now going to say that when you can send your tennis team here, they don't have a security issue. What's so special about the cricket team? It's just another sport. So what's this mess all about?
We can't send our tennis team to play the Champions Trophy. That's for sure. Like I said earlier, the Indian cricket team is a high-profile team. And for every terrorist, if he gets a hit at maybe the 15th or 16th man, it is worldwide news. So the odds are different, the stakes are different, and you can send a shooting team, you can send a tennis team, you can send a kabaddi team. All that doesn't matter. But cricket is a
But
very,
Vedam,
very high sport.
I agree with you. The fact that the Indian cricket team has superstars, but at the end of the day, when you talk about safety, someone in the tennis team is just as valuable. His or her life is just as valuable as the life of someone in the cricket team. I mean, if it is about safety, it comes down to that.
There's no doubt about it, but I wonder whether the terrorists are following tennis at all. All their eyes will be on something which can get them. See, the idea is not to hurt somebody. The idea is to get maximum publicity out of it. For the terrorists and their funders, if they get a high-profile target, that's going to rake in a lot of money for them. That's going to rake in a lot of eyeballs. That is why the high-profile targets are the ones
In
which
fact,
are attacked.
Vedam, I'm being told to wrap up now, but of course, we've had a very interesting chat here, and I'm afraid I've had to play the devil's advocate. We did not have anyone from Pakistan on the panel, so I've, of course, been asking a lot of questions that a lot of Pakistanis have been asking over the past couple of days. And Bimal Soni ji, Vedam Jaishankar, and Joseph Hoover, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast. We'll, of course, have to see how this entire issue plays out, whether Pakistan agrees with the hybrid model, which they eventually looks like they will, and, of course, how long they take before they actually agree to it, and, of course, how much of a drama we are going to see as far as the Champions Trophy and India and Pakistan is concerned. That's it from my end on Mirror Prime viewers. Lots more lined up on the other side. Stay tuned.